Welcome back to Networking Unleashed, Building Profitable Connections. I'm your host, Michael Forman, and today we're stripping away the noise to talk about something powerful, building a business that's profitable, purpose-driven, and rooted in what you already know. My guest has helped countless entrepreneurs launch and scale their businesses online without ads, without burnout, without a tech team on speed dial. Her approach is grounded in truth. You don't need to reinvent yourself. You just need to leverage your experience and connect with the people you need most. In a world obsessed with flashy tactics and funnels, she brings us back to what actually works: genuine relationships, value first marketing, and clarity in how you show up and serve. So if you've been stuck in planning mode, overthinking your pitch, or wondering how getting traction without selling your soul to the algorithm, this episode is for you. Let's dive into how connection creates opportunity and how simplicity can scale. I would like to bring my guest in. Her name is Jeanne Omlor, and I hope I said that correctly.
Yes, you did.
Oh, that's not bad on my first shot.
It
Okay.
was not bad at
Um,
all. Yeah.
Okay, so if you would be so kind as to just give us a little bit of your background.
Okay, so I have been a coach for 13 years, and for 8 of that, I was a business strategist, business coach, consultant, and also part of that executive leadership coach. And I had an okay business. It wasn't like now I'm a multi-million-dollar coach now. It was okay, but I knew it wasn't going to just keep building sustainably because too much of it was based on my time being out there networking. And there's only so much that can't scale. And there's only so much you can build with that because it's just time, real time for money. About 6 years ago, I moved to the Midwest, and the Midwestern people don't invest in their businesses as much as New Yorkers. That's just a fact. Okay. And I realized this is not going to work anymore because all of my vast networking and being a score mentor and I was an ambassador for one of the local chambers, all of that work, which was a lot of work out there, networking, talking, all of that is selling ice to Eskimos. I realized I need to get online because the market then is the whole world. So I got online about 6 years ago and I figured out how to get clients very simply online with no ads by just speaking to people. And I thought, I'm just going to do this so well that I'm going to be the best person at this. And I became known for organic social media marketing, meaning organic means not paid. And when I got online, I did sign up for not a great coaching course, but I plunked 10K down on 3 extra credit cards because when I got online almost 6 years ago, I was in deep debt. And I'm also a single mom of 2 children. And I thought, I need to fix this because it's not like I'm getting any younger. And it's not every day you hear, gee, I'm 55 or 54 and I'm just going to go online and become a millionaire. But that's what happened. I got online and I fixed it. And I thought, wow, this is working so well. And people were like, how are you doing that? No ads, and figured out the whole organic, just speaking to people. And we have it dialed in. So I'm at several million now. We've helped over 500 coaches, consultants, and online service providers, like some digital marketers. I even have some accounting firms and people like that, but it works. It still works because some of the stuff stopped working in the last 3 years, but this organic social media marketing still works. So that's what I do now.
That's wonderful. That really is. And it shows how you went from having to do something to actually creating something for yourself, and you've made it. So that's a feather in your cap. Let's go right into the questions. You teach people how to turn what they already know into a business.
Hmm.
How does networking with them test, refine, and share that expertise in a real world way?
How does me networking with them?
Right. How does
Oh,
network work with them? Test it, refine, and share with the expertise in the real world.
okay. I'll just answer this the way that I think it's meant and tell me if I'm wrong. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
basically, what I'm teaching is a sort of networking online. It's not just networking and wasting your time, but it is meeting people, and that's all. Connecting with people is networking. That's my particular definition of networking is not what other people are doing. First of all, can I just tell you my difference?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So the difference is that people say, oh, I'm networking. And it's just very unfocused. I'm just going to meet with people and hope and see. That's not how you network. So I teach people to network, connect with people with a purpose. And so, yes, I teach them to, because it's organic social media marketing. So it is networking, but properly, where you're not bait and switching people. You're not pretending they're so interested in them, but you really want to sell them. All that's really bad behavior. And we don't think it's bad behavior, but it actually is. It's actually bad behavior. It's bait and switch. Nobody feels great about a bait and switch. I had somebody reach out to me. I really want to hear about your services. And I thought, why? Oh, because I want to sell you this. I said, you actually started off telling me you wanted, but actually that wasn't it. You don't care about my services at all. And I knew it. I was nice about it, but I thought that is what's wrong with how they're doing it. They're pretending they're so interested in what you do. I'm genuinely curious about what people do, of course, but I'm not pretending that I want to hire somebody to get them on a phone and then do a bait and switch. And it doesn't work anyway. I don't know why anybody would do that. So yes, we're coaching them to leverage what they already know because we are knowledge brokers. I'll give you an example. I was networking with a judge. And he said, what do you do? And I said, and he wanted to be on my podcast, but my podcast isn't about adventure and he's an adventure person. And I said, I love what you do because I love adventure. I said, but it's not the theme of my, I totally see that. I said, great. So we started chatting. So it was networking. He said, tell me what you do. And I said, sure. And he goes, what is coaching? And I explained it to him. And he said, that was a really good explanation in 3 minutes. I said, yeah, $1 trillion industry. He went, oh. He said, yeah, I want to retire in the next 2 years. Do you think I could coach? And I said, I don't know. But you're a judge. Clearly you're good at a lot. But what could you actually coach people on? And he said, I've developed a decision making model, SOP, over the years, and it works on everything. I said, that is a great offer. And he went, really? I said, very good offer. That's decision making coaching. Everybody needs that. And he said, really? I said, absolutely. Because I could see that was something we could leverage and sell with him. So he came in, immediately signed up, and he had his first high ticket client within 4 weeks. Guy's never sold a thing in his life. Okay. So that is real brokering of what the goodness and value of people. He never would have thought of doing that. He didn't think there was value in leveraging all of that life experience. And I saw that. I thought, wow, that is amazing. Because he said, you need to figure out an SOP as a judge. You can't just randomly send people to death row. It has to be, you can't because you're hangry. And he said, it works for a lot of things. He said, I used it for a lot of things. And it's great. I said, that is fantastic. So I didn't have to teach him something. I can't teach him a thing about decision making. He could teach me, actually. So he already had something great in his knowledge base that all we needed to do was package and sell. So that is how we use it.
Very good. Very good. Okay, so for those just starting out online, what ads or funnels, if any, what does relationship building play in getting traction?
Okay, I'm against most ads and funnels for
Right.
coaches because they don't work. Because I've spent about 100K to be really transparent. I spent about 100K after I learned the organic. I test a bunch of stuff because that's just a smart thing to do is to test everything. So I thought maybe these ads will work. And if they do, then I could certainly coach my clients on that. They don't work. Ads do not work. And every time somebody says I'm running ads, I always say, are they working? And they go, to be honest, no. Okay. Now, the only type of ad I do run is an audience building ad on YouTube for my podcast. And those are working great. I figured out a way to get thousands of subscribers and real views and subscribers for next to nothing. So that we've been working, and that's not about clients, that's just building my podcast, which isn't really to do with my coaching. I have a podcast called Business Wealth Impact, which isn't to do with my coaching. It's a broad kind of thing. So as far as the coaching and the businesses, I know that some of the digital ads, I don't mean Facebook or those. There are digital search ads that can work, like on Yahoo, and the TV stations and radio stations use that kind. And I know that those can work if you're working with somebody that knows how to use those. But Google ads and Facebook and Instagram and real YouTube ads running to a very hard to make those work. In fact, I don't think it's worth it for most businesses because they're just taking your money. However, I do know that if you have an expert working with you on those digital search like Yahoo, that I've heard you can get those placement ads on websites can be okay, but I don't do those myself.
And I agree with you 100%. the people that I coach, the people that I teach, I tell them almost exactly the same thing. Listen, if you want those high ticket clients, you have to spend a god awful amount of money to
Hmm.
get all that money. So is it really worth it? Or would you rather find another way? And yourself and myself, and we show them how to get there in a different way. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Because I would love if they'd work. I would love it that I'd maybe if I'd gotten online 13 years ago, they would have worked. Everything, you just clicked on everything and it worked in those days. So am I a little jealous that they stopped working, that I missed out? But you know what? I've done so well that I'm just basking in gratitude at this point. But you can't regret because things aren't working anymore and you've missed the boat. Just find a new boat. Find a new boat. That's my
absolutely.
coaching.
Absolutely. Find it. What's your advice for someone who thinks that they need to have it all figured out before they start reaching out or making a connection?
Oh, that's my favorite one. This whole thing, it's just fear, right? That we have to have
Yeah.
everything perfect. And they say lining, I'm getting my ducks in a row. And every time I hear that I'm groaning, I'm just like, oh, here's another perfectionist that's scared, that's stuck. It's never going to pull the trigger. My thing was, I had to just put line one duck up and shoot it. Well, that's my joke. And people laugh when I say that usually because why are you lining ducks up? You're not starting a multi-million dollar like operation where you're getting like the teams in place. No, if you're a solopreneur, there are ducks lined up. Very few. Look at what's fear. When you ask yourself, am I actually ever going to take action? Most people, if they really ask that hard question, no, they're just procrastinating. And that's sad to me. So the thing is, just take one step, messy step that you don't know what you're doing, and you get that foot in the door. Now your foot's in the door, and you can pry that door open bit by bit. It is not about perfectionism. It's not about perfect everything. It's not about getting your ducks in a row and being ready for the perfect move. It is messy, and it is just take a step already, please. And guess what? Then you see what happened from the step. Okay, that was messy, but something happened. Okay, I'm going to take another step and I'm going to be in the mud now. No successful person ever uses the word neat or oh, it was so neat and tied up in a bow. No, it's messy and it's mean and it's dirty and it's not like dirty towards other people, but I mean, no successful person ever, high achievers, never say, oh, yes, that was just so easy and I just got everything in a row and we didn't get, no, it's rolling in the mud. It's rolling in the mud, like mud wrestling, okay, with yourself, actually, because you're not wrestling anybody else. You just take the step and do everything you can to get out of that fear that is just the fear that is just stopping people in their tracks nonstop because all it's doing is making you just wait another day. And life is short. Life is so short. I can't believe how quickly the weeks are passing now. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to do more. I got to get more towards my purpose. So don't do that. It's massive, messy action. And then a bit later, the action is not so messy because then you start to get it together. And then it's more not so messy. Make sense?
Makes a lot of sense. I say it slightly different. I say the same exact thing as you. I say, just do it. The first time you go out, you're going to suck. It's going to be
Mm-hmm.
horrible,
Mm-hmm.
messy, disgusting, but you made the first step.
Mm-hmm.
So you take from that what you can, learn
Mm-hmm.
from it. You go out again and take the second step. And then you learn a little bit more. And then each time you do it, you learn that much more. And pretty soon you'll have your ducks in a row, but not in the beginning. And
No,
so
no,
that
100%. And really, success is your mind over your emotions. And all it is, people are already looking forward to, oh, if I fail, I'm going to feel bad. It's going to be really icky feeling. And they're really protecting how they feel in the future when you think about it, right? So the way is, and it's not easy because we're all human and we all have feelings, right? And I work with this every day because I want to be bulletproof and I want to be like just even keeled all the time that no matter what anybody says to me, I just absorb it, I respond. I'm not like a robot, but it's not bothering me. It really is about getting your mind to master your emotions all the time. And I don't mean emotionless and don't be emotional and don't be like a robot, but in business and when you're working towards something, if you're just so afraid of having your feelings hurt or failing and how that's going to feel, you will get nowhere because it
and you
does
really
hurt, you
Yeah,
know?
and you're really not a business person. There are people who are made to be a business people and people who are not. And if you're that afraid and that if you're really getting hurt and you're never going to take that step, then really maybe you're not a business person.
maybe you are, because I was like that when I started. I'll be really honest. When I started my business, I was a baby. I just was terrible. I was so sensitive. And my coach was, she goes, Jeanne, you have to be not so sensitive. And I said, I hate marketing and I don't want to market. And because that makes me nauseous. And she said, you need to change and you need to get, do you want this business? I said, I have to have this business because I got to do this. She said, you need to get your mind straight and you need to embrace marketing. And I don't care how icky it feels to you. I'm actually feeling it in my heart right now because I'm remembering this conversation. And sales, I didn't want to sell. So I wouldn't say that people aren't business people. I think that's a little harsh because I think that we all struggle with that, really, not wanting to sell. It really is. If I want to be compassionate, I want to say, look, I sucked. Okay. And I was definitely not a business person. And I believe that everybody can develop into a business person if they truly want to. And they're ready to just fight those demons because it's not like you're a born business person. Some people are. I certainly was not. It's a miracle that I got where I am. So that's why I'm more compassionate with people about that, that if I can do it, like anybody can do it. That's what I really think.
Okay. Okay. Sure. I'll accept that. You help create impact and income. Does
Mhm.
a strong network support both, especially in the early stages of business?
Okay, what's interesting, I was out there networking all the time and I had so many cards. And what I realized after a point was what you said, a strong network. It's not just a network. Because it was just a bunch of people trying to sell me and I was selling to them. And now when I looked at these thousands of cards, because I had boxes, and I thought there was no real, these people didn't really want to develop a relationship. I wanted to, but it was real, oh, do you want to hire me? Okay, next. So it's really just kind of going through people. Do you want to hire me next? Next. The real strong network was later when I got online and I did have online friends and we did help each other and we still do. So that was powerful. The network of course I hired coaches as well, but just my peers, that network of support, and we would run things by each other, and I am still even coaching my friends here and there and they're sending me stuff. So that did help a lot as far as my network of coaches because there was help that we did support a lot, but I didn't rely on that, to be honest. I never relied on that. That's just nice to have peers that are lovely and we help each other, but I didn't rely on it. I relied on myself and my marketing because that's all you can count on is your marketing efforts every single day. And I coach on this. You don't want to hope to get business because there is no hope in business. There's taking action and then seeing what happens and the results and then picking yourself up and taking more action. So I don't rely on my network at all. It's just nice that I know nice people. That's all.
No, you rely on yourself, things that you can do. And really, as a business person, that's all you can really rely on is
Absolutely.
yourself. And
Right.
so that's the way it goes. When you said the thousands of business cards that you received in my before life, I worked corporate and I was in mortgages, and I used to go to networking events. I used to come home with a shoebox filled with business cards and say, "Look how good I did."
Oh,
But in reality, I didn't do well at all. All I had was
no.
business cards and no relationships. But
Right.
that's a story for another day. A lot of entrepreneurs struggle to describe what they do in a way that connects. How can networking actually help them clarify their message?
Oh, I love this. So the thing is, before I got online, I used to actually lecture on this and do public speaking and little mini events. People would invite me in when I lived in New York because I would help people to, I would say, how to perfect your intro. I didn't call it an elevator speech because I hated that and it just seemed weird. And I would teach them when they were networking to stop babbling so much already because start talking to somebody and they just start throwing things, and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know this person," and you're just like, "Oh, I'm overwhelmed already." So I figured out that you really want to say very little. You just want to say two things. You just want to say, "I help XYZ type of people get XYZ results," and then you shut up. And people were like, this is brilliant. I'm getting clients from this because what it does is it cuts down the noise. So people would say to me, what do you do? And I'd say, I help, at this point, I'd say, I help small business owners to explode their sales and profits. That's all I'd say. I didn't go, oh, I'm a coach and I do this and this is my back. Nothing. I would say that and I would shut up. and take and just shut up and lean back. And they go,
Uh,
and they would
yep.
sit there thinking, wow, that was one sentence. And she's not talking anymore. And it made them think, okay, and it, oh, sometimes they'd be like, one guy took a step back and he went, oh, how do you do that? And I said, I do this and the marketing and so that. And he went, oh, wow, I want to speak with you. And then he ended up being a client of mine for 6 years from that. He said, that one thing you told me made me realize that I am terrible at that. He said, because you had me at hello and you said one sentence. Yes, networking can be very good if you just say one powerful thing and then be quiet and let them ask you more. Because talking and talking about what you do, nobody's interested.
No, no. I talk about this from coast to coast. From the
Mm.
East Coast to the West Coast, I go on stages, I do workshops and everything. I
Mm.
tell them exactly what you just said
Awesome.
because
We are just synergistic, you and I.
we are. I told them that the what you that intro, that elevator, that intro that you talk about, you want to say just enough for them to understand what you do and to ask you something about it.
Okay, but this is the point you're missing. This is actually a formula that I'm going to teach people right now. The formula is you help whom, so that's the target market, to get what results. So the formula, and I would give people the formula. It's I help XYZ people get XYZ results. Fill in the XYZ. Okay. So you have to talk about, you have to mention who it's for. Okay. So I help small business owners. Oh, okay, great. What are you going to do for us? Oh, explode your sales and profits, which is what I did. It wasn't improve something, it wasn't provide, it was explode. So I used a really powerful verb,
Yes.
explode.
Yes.
And it made them go, wow, I've never heard that before. So it's a way of also using words that are a pattern disrupt, that they haven't heard spouting out of every, because there's just this cliche. I said, also take provide out of that sentence because it's weak. I provide. Really? Providing stuff so weak. So I would coach people and I would do these groups. I used to coach NYU NBA alumni on this, okay? Because I lived around the corner from New York University. But anyway, the point is it's just who is it for? What are the massive results that are going to knock their socks off? Okay, that's the rule. Who and knock the socks off. I took a long time to find those few words because I thought it's not, it's helping them make money, but it's exploding the sales and the profits because profits are just as important as revenue because a lot of people make a lot of revenue and they have 2% profit. So my whole thing was revenue and then upping the profits as well. And they were just like, wow, how do you do that? I didn't say I'm a business coach. I didn't say the words business coach because nobody cares about my title. They just wanted to know, what are you going to do for us? And then they'd say, how do you, actually, I coach them. Oh, you're a coach. Yeah. Oh, great. Tell me more. Then I could expand on it because they'd asked me permission-based marketing. Get it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love what you say. I love what you talk about because like you said, we talk about exactly the same thing. And it's
Mm.
so nice to hear somebody else saying exactly what I try to tell everybody. I say try because you say it a lot better than I do.
Thank
Okay.
you for that. Okay.
Okay. So you've built a business without without complicated tech.
Mm.
What networking habits have helped you stay visible and valuable in a noisy online world?
Focus. Focus. You got to say no to a bunch of stuff. I figured out something that they say, figure out something and just, I sold the same program over and over and over again. It worked. I was always looking for new things to work for me and my clients because I experiment. I spend 100K in ads. Okay. Because I experiment. I've hired a bunch of, kissed a lot of frogs, but I'm like, maybe this will work. I'll just check it out because if it works for me, then I'll tell my clients about it. Maybe this will work because it works for me. So I keep doing that still, but it's on the side. Just let's test a bunch of stuff as well. But really, what I'll maybe move, like I started on Facebook, made tons of money there, and then I learned LinkedIn as well. And then I also learned Instagram, and we had all three. And sometimes Instagram's working better than LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever. And then they'll change algorithms, and then we always figure out what's working for me and my clients, and it depends on their offer, of course. But about There's this thing that I'm just going to plug a bunch of stuff in. Keep your eye on the prize. If something's working, keep doing it the same way. See other alternatives. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's
Right?
right.
If it's working, and you know what? Organic marketing still did I figure new stuff out? For sure. I figured out how to start in a podcast because I wanted to, which had nothing to do with my coaching. It's about broad business wealth and impact on purpose because I didn't want to do a pitchy for my coaching. And it was more about my purpose of business and wealth creation for all and impact in the world. And I figured out by accident that how to monetize that. I was like, wow. So now I have something else I coach my clients on. And then I figured out a new way of monetizing with like sponsorships and which I wasn't even trying to. And I don't really care about that, to be honest, because I'm a very high ticket kind of gal, but my clients care. So I'm testing this whole model and I figured out how to get massive amounts of views and subscribers for next to nothing. So that's another. So I'm always experimenting and I figure stuff out and I'm like, wow, aha, I discovered I'm a mad scientist with marketing, but I keep doing what's working and I will shift it if something's working more better. But it's not about, oh, now of course I tried to make the whole ads thing work because I thought, sure, if the ads are worth it, but they weren't. But I'd kept doing what I was doing. So I didn't have a dip. New things are working better in new markets. I don't know. It's about just doing what's working and sure, keep experimenting because then you might segue into something a bit different. I've definitely developed, but it's still organic marketing.
All right. Good. Great. When scaling, how do you maintain genuine relationships, especially when your audience or client list start to grow?
I haven't really had a problem with that because I'm not a McDonald's coaching company and I didn't want to run millions of dollars of ads and lose touch with my clients and then have a big, huge team. And then actually the profits are so low. You're doing more work often for fewer profits. I was like, let's make this sustainable where my clients still have vast access to me. And we have actually a very generosity based model, which my clients can book a call with me whenever they want. But they are so well coached up with all the other coaches and the group that they don't need a lot of one on one. So I've worked something out that they're so well serviced, they can certainly have it. But I don't feel like I'm over coaching. I don't feel like I'm burning out with the coaching at all. And it's just worked the way we've done it because I do have other coaches who are not underlings. They're on the same level, but they're doing different things. Does it make sense? Different
Yeah, it makes perfect
expertises.
sense. Yeah,
Mm.
no, that's exactly. I'm part of something similar to that. And I think that's the only way to grow also, because you're not limiting yourself a lot more to
Yeah.
offer. So I agree with that 100%. What's one connection you made that changed your business and what made the relationship so impactful?
There's so many. Let me just think of one. I think that my buddy that I've never actually met in person, we met when I first got online and we've just been like accountability partners and friends ever since. And it's just been because I also have coaches, but we're not coaching each other. It's just accountability. It's been a very beautiful relationship when we never actually met in person. And it's been great because it's just been somebody to run stuff by him and it's been beautiful. So it's been a support apart from coaching and mentoring. It's just been so that's been really wonderful. And he said it was great. It's been great for him too. So that was amazing. That's one.
Okay. That's beautiful. And you should keep that as long as you can because because no money is involved or anything. It's accountability, but it's a good friendship as well.
For
And
sure.
works very well. Okay. So for someone who's introverted or overwhelmed by online marketing, what's one simple, high impact way to start building a network that actually matters?
You're talking to the right person because when I got online, I had no traction. I didn't have any, I was barely on there. It was just my friend said, could you please get on Facebook so we can speak with you overseas? And I said, okay. I would say I started off as an introvert and people don't think I am, but I think that I have a different view of introvert. And I think that we all have both. And a lot of it has to do with situations. However, there are some deep introverts. I get it. One thing is the one thing. Don't think of it as, oh my goodness, I have to reach out to all of these strangers. That's hard. And that's not what I did. I saw it as one human being at a time. And when you don't say, I'm going to post all over the place and I'm going to bring in a flood of clients all at once. When you say no, I'm going to do one thing, one thing, one human being. I'm going to reach out to one person and I'm going to start a conversation with one person. What gets overwhelming for introverts is all of that splattering all over and trying to get a bunch of people in your funnel, which doesn't work anyway, unless you are running ads and you're like Russell Brunson type kind of thing. What has worked for me and my clients is becoming more focused on the human being in front of you and just talk to one person and not 10 at once. You could have conversations with more than one, but if you want to do one thing, just reach out to one person, start a conversation, and then start another. So it's one thing.
Okay, wonderful, beautiful. Okay, so let's bring this podcast full circle. If your business disappeared tomorrow, what connections would you rebuild first and why?
If it disappeared tomorrow, I would still have my connections. So I
Okay.
wouldn't have to rebuild them. I'm in amazing networks. So even if the business went away, for me, I would be like, okay, just start again. Just find whatever platform I got kicked. I'm assuming because I'm kicked off a platform, I just start another platform and find a new niche and find another way of marketing. So for me, it's just people that are good at what they do. They're like that oozy slime that will slime out and somehow find a way, right? So
Yeah,
in some ways, you're going to be laughing. I'm like slime because I'm going to, remember that toy called slime?
sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
probably got all over your carpets, right? So
Yes, it did.
yeah, I know. So the thing is, good people always find a way. They're going to slime out of that, you corner them, they're going to slime out, they're going to find another market. And that, to me, it's funny. I think of it that way, that people that also it's saying that we're flexible and we can reinvent because slime reinvents, right? And then there's one of those action heroes does that. Is there an action hero that slimes and then creates a new body or something? But when I
It's
think
something like
about
that.
it, yeah. So good people are like that. They're plastique, as we say in French. That means formable, like clay, right? And that means they're not rigid. And you're going to corner us, but we're going to slime around and we're going to get around and we're going to create a new market over here in this corner over here. And we're going to have people watching us even. So that's the way to think about yourself, is to be adaptable. And I am adaptable. And do I want to lose my business that I built? Absolutely not. Could I build another one? Sure. I know how to.
Right. Okay. Okay. Jeanne, this was great. This was a wonderful podcast. I'm so thankful that you decided to come on to my podcast. If somebody wanted to speak to you, hire you, talk to you, what's the best way that they can get hold of you?
Anywhere. LinkedIn, my name. Instagram, my name. My website, which is lord.com, my name. Anywhere my name is, I will answer. Also, my name, yeah, is also on Facebook.
Okay. And it's pretty original, also, your name. So
Yeah,
there
I'm the only
aren't too
one.
many. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
You
I'm pretty
know,
sure I'm
unlike,
only one at this point. Yeah.
well, hold on, folks. Don't go anywhere. Let's hear from our sponsors. David Neal, co-founder, Revved Up Kids. Revved Up Kids is on a mission to protect children and teens from sexual abuse, exploitation, and trafficking. They provide prevention training programs for children, teens, and adults. To learn more, go to revvedupkids.org. Henry Kaplan, Century 21. When it comes to making the biggest financial decision of your life, leave it in the hands of a proven professional, Henry Kaplan. Henry is a global real estate agent with Century 21, celebrating his 41st year in business. No matter where you're moving, Henry has the right connections for you. You can contact Henry at 561 427 4888. A huge thank you to our guest for sharing such incredible insights today. And of course, a big shout out to you, our amazing listeners, for tuning in and spending your time with us. If you're interested in my digital courses, being coached, or having me come and talk to your company, just go to Michael and fill out the request form. Remember, networking isn't about being perfect, it's about being present. So take what you've learned today, get out there, and make some meaningful connections. If you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who could use a little networking inspiration. Let's keep the conversation going. You can find me on Apple, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, or my website, forman.com/podcasts.